It's not like they've never had bad interviews before. Of course they have, plenty of times. But bad interviews are supposed to end with you shit-faced drunk, not with your brother on his knees, puking his guts out in front of a museum belonging to a deranged comic book collector. Daggett gets to his feet, wiping his mouth. "You okay?" Bode asks, which is a stupid question, because of course he's not. He's still pale as hell, and shaky. Evidently puking hadn't helped as much this time around. "No," Daggett says, trying to keep his voice light. He looks at the camera, and Bode picks up what he's trying to say. "We just have to keep it going," he says into the camera cheerfully, playing it off as this is no big deal, this is hilarious. On to the next person. The director makes the motion to cut, and the cameras turn off. Bode breathes a sigh of relief and unclips his mic. "Great job," the director says, all things considered. "Alright, you guys get started. We are going to pack up and we'll meet you at the next location." Bode nods and climbs into the driver's seat. Daggett doesn't move, except a slight grunt of discomfort as the car starts to move. It's an 8-hour drive to their next location. They're barely 20 minutes into the trip when Daggett sits up with a gasp. "Bode, pull over," he says. "We're on a highway. For fuck's sake, pull over!" He does. Daggett leaps out as soon as the car stops and once again empties his stomach by the side of the road. Or rather, he would have had anything in there to empty. Now it's just painful dry heaving, and he thinks that might be worse. "Are you finished?" Bode asks as Daggett stumbles back to the car and climbs in. "Probably not." He's right. Only 15 minutes later, there's another urgent plea and another stop by the side of the road. And again 15 minutes after that. And then 10 minutes later. This has to stop, Bode thinks as they pull over for the 5th time in an hour. It's getting dark and they can't keep pulling over. He pulls out his phone and checks the maps. There's a town not too far away. They should be able to make it. Very good. There's a town about 15 minutes away. We're gonna stop there for the night. Think you can make it? Daggett stands up unsteadily, leaning on Bode for support as they walk back to the car. "I think so. We'll be behind schedule though." "I don't care. Do you?" "No." "Then it's settled." The camera crew is following them in a separate van. Bode waves them down. "We're stopping for tonight," he says firmly when the director approaches. "He can't keep going like this." Daggett is sitting on the running board of the car, sipping slowly from a bottle of water, a blanket wrapped around his shoulders. He looks over at the small gathering, then slumps against the seat and closes his eyes. That seals it. The director nods. "All right then, we'll keep going. Stay in contact with us, let us know what's going on." Bode gives his word that he will, and then walks back over to the car. "Can you try not to puke for the next 15 minutes? he asks. Daggett groans, but climbs into the seat. No promises. In the end he doesn't puke, but is close. They check into the hotel and get up to the room, and Daggett wastes no time, ducking into the washroom and closing the door. From behind it, Bode hears him retching and coughing. He looks down at his phone again, unsure of what to do now. No new messages, and it's almost 9:30, and sitting around in a hotel room listening to his brother puke is really unappealing. And he's really fucking starving. "Very good," he calls. "I'm going to get dinner." And then, because he can't resist, "Do you want anything?" From behind the door is groan and a muffled "Fuck you." Bode smirks and leaves him in peace. There's a pub on the ground floor, which looks as good as anywhere. The food isn't appealing, but it's close by and edible, so he decides to go there. He puts in his order, then finds a seat near the back of the pub, where he won't be disturbed. He sinks onto the bench and closes his eyes, suddenly overwhelmed with the events of the day. It's not like they've never had bad interviews before. But this wasn't funny bad, it was bad bad. It's been a long, strange day, with too many interruptions and problems, and things he can't control. And ordinarily, he could laugh it off with Vegard over a couple of beers. But Vegard isn't here, is he? No, Vegard is upstairs, puking his guts out, and looking like death warmed over. He doesn't think he has ever seen his brother so ill. He can't even think of the last time Vegard was sick at all. Vegard is the strong one, the rock, the one who never stumbles or falls. Bård takes a sip of his beer and grips the cutlery tightly to make his hand stop shaking. Suddenly he's not hungry anymore. It's been replaced by a lead ball in his stomach, and all he wants to do is run back upstairs. But the barman approaches and puts a plate of something down in front of him, and he knows he's trapped. Try it. He can practically hear Vegard in his head. Just one bite, that's all. Hesitantly, he takes a tiny bite of the stew and nods his thanks to the waiting barman. He wishes the man would just go away and stop watching him eat, but he doesn't. He won't stop watching. You're not from around here, are you? Bård shakes his head. No, he answers, hoping that if he can just get through small talk, then maybe he'll be left alone. He takes another tiny bite of the stew. What brings you through? My brother and I were on a road trip. It's not entirely a lie, but he really doesn't want to get into it. He came down with the flu, so we stopped here for the night. Oh, that's too bad, the man says, shaking his head. There's a bad flu going around right now. So I've heard. Yeah, worse than we've ever had it. Is that so? Yes, he says dolorously. Lost 3 people this year already, and 2 more are in hospital. Bård puts his fork down. Lost them? You mean they died? Yeah. Of the flu? It's a bad one. Must be. Suddenly the room is too warm and stuffy, and he can't breathe. He throws some bills down on the table and stands on shaky legs. Would you excuse me? By the time he gets upstairs he's sweating, but he's cold all over and his hands are numb. He can barely fit the key in the lock, and spends a minute fumbling with it, trying frantically to open the door. Finally it swings open. Vegard is lying on his back on the bed, eyes closed, skin dead white. He's not breathing. No, Bård whispers, all the air leaving his lungs. No, Vegard! He kneels on the bed and shakes him desperately. What the fuck, Bård? Vegard yells, eyes snapping open. Bård scrambles backwards. You're alive! Of course I'm alive, but you won't be if you don't let me go back to sleep within the next 5 seconds. Sorry, He looks away. I just thought. Hey! Vegard grabs his hands and squeezes it. Calm down, okay? I'm not dead.